Hi everybody, and welcome back to me going through my favorites list on fanfiction.net. For those of you who don't know, once again, I'm sorting my favorites stories on my fanfiction.net account by publication date, starting with the oldest, rereading all of them, and seeing whether or not they deserve to stay on my list. So, let's hop right in, right? First one on for this video is The Afterlife and Times of Myrtle Potter by PerfesserN. And basically this is a fic where Myrtle possesses Hermione's body after Harry kills Voldemort. Or, well, actually during the fight, but that's not the point. So there is a bit of suspense and like a couple large moments of like action, such as the fight at the end, but that happens like right at the beginning. The suspense parts happen later, but mainly this is just like a love story between Myrtle and Harry, and I thought it's rather enjoyable. Like, I'm not usually one for this kind of just fluff stuff, but I liked it a lot, and it kept me interested throughout the entire story, so that's definitely a plus, you know, like, so it's pretty good romantic thriller. If you want to check out this little bit, or if you like Myrtle at all, like, definitely give this a look. And yeah, I found this entertaining throughout all the way through, so this one stays on my list. Alright. Next is Play It Again, Naruto by dogbertcarroll. dogbertcarroll is, again, like, I love his stuff, like, even especially the pure stupidity stuff, which this is. Like, basically the main plot of this is, Naruto was learning a forbidden jutsu and decided to interrupt the seals by flipping off Sasuke. Yeah, that's great. And so he ends up back in time somehow because of that, and he just doesn't give a shit, mainly because he thinks it's a dream right at the beginning, but then just moving on, like, stupid shit after stupid shit happens, you know, like how the Hokage is like getting high, and they both get high as hell and then eat his body weight in ramen. What else? Like how they deal with the Uchiha massacre, because it's all just really funny stuff that it's not complete, and it's very much like leading up to a lot more, but even what's there is still super hilarious, and I love it a lot, so it's staying on my list. Okay, next is Harry Potter Wizard Barrister by DisobedienceWriter. A barrister, if you don't know the word, is another word for lawyer. I think it's like the British term for lawyer, but yeah, so this is basically a one-shot short fic about Harry's last case as a barrister, and the case itself is like pretty simple, gets done, and then a bunch of proclamations occur where he changes the wizarding world, because, you know, these kind of things, wherever he goes into law, it's always like, somehow he's gonna involve the queen or something, and boom, it's gonna go forward, and the queen's gonna take over the wizarding world. It's fine, you know, it just doesn't feel like a complete story. It feels like it should have been part of something bigger, and that's the main problem. Like, it just doesn't feel fit. It doesn't satisfy, because it's like either there should have been more before, or there need to be more after for the consequence, like for the after effects of this stuff. So I find it okay, but just not enough to stay on my list by itself, so it's gonna fall off my list. Right. Now we have Impasse by BJA Fan. So even though it's listed in the Danny Phantom category, this is basically so this is a Teen Titans crossover with Danny Phantom, even though it's not listed as that, and it's mainly Raven's story. Like, this follows Raven from her point of view, and it's basically the Raven, like, you know, Raven and Danny, turns out, are both immortal, and since we're following Raven, we're seeing how she deals with the impact of being left behind after everybody's dead, and ending up finding Danny and finding some peace there. It's mostly like somber and like about like very. You go through Raven's mind and she's like very depressed and stuff, and then it ends with a very hopeful ending that I really enjoyed. So yeah, this is pretty good and I like it a lot, so it's staying on my list. Alright. Coming up now, we have The Dark Lords of Nerima by Claymade. Okay, so this is Sailor Moon crossed Ranma, where basically a Yoma fights and like runs away from a fight with the Sailor Senshi and ends up meeting Ryoga, who she gives like a cock and bull story to, and basically gets the protection of the Ranma crew. And then they end up having to fight both the Sailor Senshi and the Dark Kingdom when they come back to retrieve her. And it's written okay enough. It gets all the actual... I don't remember much of Sailor Moon, but from all the Ranma fics that are there, it gets the inherent craziness and the decent action scenes that all Ranma fics should have, and it's fine. And the Yoma itself has a pretty good character arc, and we see her grow and evolve as a character and become someone you actually like near the end. The insights of the Dark Kingdom and Amazon politics are also interesting. I just didn't care. Like, this is one of the ones like that, you know, there's a lot of it, and I just stopped reading in the middle and decided that, okay, there's a lot of here, it's well written, you know, it's good, so it should just go on my list, even though I'm not super interested. I've done that quite a bit, but now I'm clearing out the ones that only I really like, and that's the thing, like, it's well written, it's good, but I just did not it just did not keep me focused. Like, when I was reading this, I kept tabbing out to other stories. I actually think, like, this took me like 3 days to read, mainly because I went like in the middle of this, I just got bored and reread a whole other fic that was like 100k words because of this, and I just wasn't focused on this one. It's okay. I think it's good. Maybe if you like Sailor Moon or Ranma more, you'll be more interested. Me, I just wasn't focused on it, so I'm gonna give this a pass. Alright. Okay, here. This next one's really, I like it a lot. It's so spoiler. The Book of Naruto by Hitokiri OTD. This is the second Hitokiri OTD fic, and the last one that he has on fanfiction.net. And this is by the writer who did Tempered in Water, which did stay on my list. And this one is very, very different from that story. Tempered in Water was very like serious and more like somber. This is basically a joke. Like this is a huge joke. Like in the vein of Make-A-Wish, like that, where but instead of accidental badassery and stuff like that, basically a lot of weird coincidences start occurring, and Naruto gets mistaken as a god, and a whole religion just starts sprouting up about him. But it's not just accidental, because weird shit is happening that supports the fact that Naruto is a god, which is really weird and funny, and I just enjoy this a hell of a lot. You know, you're getting scenes from Naruto on his training trip with Jiraiya, where he like seemingly controls the weather and things like that, or you get scenes with Hinata praying to a empty bowl of ramen for Naruto to come back, and then it refills magically. Like, it's weird stuff going on that's super fun and entertaining. Along with, then you get, as the religion bits start going, you get like excerpts from what would be a religious text of Naruto, and seeing lines like that relating to what was currently happening, which is just great. I love this story a lot, and I love this writer, and I wish he had done more for all the things that are here. But yeah, what's here is super great. You know, the 2 chapters of this book stay on my list. Okay. And then going on from something great to something not so great, in my opinion, The Laughing Fox by Lord Dragonclaw. So this is if Naruto was raised by the Joker from Batman, like DC Universe. the concept is the idea is like, yeah, sure, there's a lot of fun and stuff, and but the jokes never really landed for me. Like, I never really, there's a lot of them, there's constantly, because it's a Joker fic and tries, but instead of being like intelligent or anything, or like big plots, it just goes for the lol so random style of humor, and it's just like random bit, rampant stupidity, random bit. Like that's how this one goes. The way Joker gets Naruto is he steals a device from Brainiac to open a portal into another world, and that's how they get Naruto as a baby, and they raise him for a bit, and then eventually go to Naruto's world. So you then get bits where other heroes and villains from the Justice League do end up coming to Naruto's world, and back and forth, and it's okay, but Naruto himself is like the main character, and even though he has a completely different team, acts completely differently, again, this is another one where it's like canon must occur, so all the shit just keeps happening, even though it really shouldn't. And yeah, I just didn't care. And no, so that's bad. I didn't care is one thing, but also I didn't laugh that much. And for something that's supposed to be all about the funny and like the random bits, I think that's a big problem. So yeah, maybe somebody, if you can give it a try, and if the first few chapters don't really get a huge laugh out of you, you're not gonna get anything from the rest of it either, so you just probably drop it. But for me, yeah, it's gone off my list. And there we have it. That was another 7 stories. So now we got statuses. I've gone through 130 stories. So that's like 10% of my list. And there's 76 that have stayed. So that's a lot I've kicked off. I kicked off 54. So that's pretty good. I'm cleaning out my list a lot. So, but there we go. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to keep up to date with my videos like this, please subscribe. If you liked it, I leave URLs for all the stories in the description below. And thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Ta-ta.